Hello, good evening. A man who lied about being medically trained has been found guilty of grievous bodily harm against a Bristol woman who received what she thought was Botox treatment from him.
Carol Kingscott said she looked like she'd been in a fight and lost after the procedure, with parts of her face remaining frozen for a year afterwards. Sarah Jane Bungay has the story.
Carol Kingscott had hoped getting Botox treatment would boost her confidence. Instead, it left her looking like this, a swollen and bruised face. She says she barely recognised herself following her appointment. This is the man who carried out Carol's Botox injections, Ozan Melin. He told her he was medically trained. He was lying. Carol described her experience in court. She compared her injections to like having a tooth pulled out without anaesthetic. She said she had to grow a fringe to hide her droopy forehead, which still hadn't recovered 7 years after the treatment. The court heard Melin had used oversized needles on Carol and another woman, leaving them with serious facial injuries. Marcel King was also left traumatised by her experience with Ozan Melin. She was hospitalised, put on a drip, and even given steroids after the injections.
The burning was really, really awful, but it was a whole systemic thing. The pain from the injections and up until they started giving me medication, it wasn't like searing, horrible pain. It was just more of a total chemical type burning. And the blisters under my eyes were enormous, but I couldn't see out of my eyes. At the hospital, everybody kept coming to ask me to take my dark glasses off, and they were doing this with their fingers and I couldn't see anything.
Today, Carol Kingscott was in court to see Ozan Melin convicted of GBH against both her and Marcel King. She described him as a very clever con man. He'll be sentenced next month. Sarah Jane Bungay, BBC Points West.
Well, a little earlier, I spoke to Ashton Collins from Save Face, whose website has a government-approved register of practitioners for cosmetic treatment. I asked her what qualifications you need to carry out Botox.
Well, Ozan Melin was passing himself off as a doctor, and actually to inject Botox you don't actually need any qualifications at all. Anybody can perform the procedure. But to actually give the procedure, Botox is a prescription-only medicine, which means anybody having it needs to have a face-to-face consultation with a prescriber beforehand, and that needs to be with either a doctor, a nurse prescriber, a dentist or a prescribing pharmacist. And obviously in these cases that didn't happen.
That's not the same for fillers though, is it? Which is slightly different. For fillers, anybody can make it and even inject it into somebody, is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Fillers are a total different kettle of fish. They're not prescription only, which means anybody can source them and anybody can inject them regardless of their training, their experience or their qualifications. So
what do you think should be in place to stop a bogus person doing it? Because obviously it doesn't reflect well on those who are doing a good job.
No, absolutely. And we're a government-approved register of people who have been vetted to ensure that they are who they say that they are, that they've got the qualifications that they claim, that they source their products from safe and legitimate suppliers, and actually then we go out and visit their premises to make sure that their clinical environment is safe and fit for purpose. And we would urge anybody considering a treatment to check a PSA approved register like Save Face, because otherwise you are really playing a lottery almost, because people claim qualifications they don't have. They source products cheaply over the internet, and it can really be a dangerous game.
So what regulations do you want to see in place?
Tougher regulations around who actually can administer these procedures. We firmly believe that they should only be carried out by medical professionals because, albeit minor, they are still medical procedures that need to be in the hands of somebody who can competently diagnose complications if they arise and treat them effectively.
OK. Ashton Collins, thanks very much.
Thank you.